SWAC has produced Hall of Fame players and coaches
that have shaped football as we know it today. But excellence doesn't stop at the game clock for us.
Since 1920, the SWAC has produced
some of the nation's leaders, innovators, and trailblazers.
Driven by greatness,
bonded by tradition, and building champions for life.
We continue to submit
ourselves into history.
Baby, we are the SWAC.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Cricket SWAC Gameday, presented by Pepsi Zero Sugar. Now, last Saturday was eventful, to say the least. I would say so. So, all eyes on the SWAC. We'll take it. There should be a lot to see this weekend as well on the field. We're looking forward to an exciting product, so let's get out there and get it. What's up, everybody? I'm Tolly Carr from Atlanta. Today's show is brought to you by Cricket. Smile. You're on Cricket. Pepsi Zero Sugar, official partner of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. There's one matchup this weekend that has the potential to be the game of the year, maybe. It might swing the division out west in a big way, but we'll get to that in a second. But before that, let's rewind it back and take you to last Saturday and give you the context of where we are right now. We'll jump into the Swac Scoreboard, brought to you by General Motors, official sponsor of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. FAMU dips out of conference, but this wasn't any stranger danger going on. They get the win against South Carolina State, an old foe from the MEAC that they were very familiar with. Alabama A&M and Grambling, they go to double overtime. The Bulldogs, oh, you hate it for Graham fan, but you like it if you're a Bulldog. The Bulldogs finally get the breakthrough win against Grambling. Texas Southern and Arkansas Pine Bluff, they duke it out. The win goes to Texas Southern. Jackson State, Alabama State. Nothing to see there, right? That was an uneventful game out of everything last weekend. Jackson State remains unbeaten. Southern explodes against Prairie View A&M in the second half. A big win for the Jaguars. Bethune Cookman on the road playing Tennessee State for its homecoming. A rough stretch in that game for the Wildcats allowed TSU to pull away big. And Alcorn State over Mississippi Valley State. It was the Battle of Mississippi, Part 2. All right, highlights. I know you're here for the highlights, so let's get it started in, let's see, Orangeburg, South Carolina. Rattlers visiting the defending Celebration Bowl champions.
Orangeburg, South Carolina was the move for Week 6, where it was MEAC versus SWAC, as FAMU made the familiar 7-hour bus ride north to take on the reigning Celebration Bowl champion South Carolina State Bulldogs, who could honestly use a W, as they came in with a 1-3 record, looking to get a quality HBCU win against the Rattlers, who pulled up at 3-2, winners of 3 straight, and FAMU was up in Oliver C. Dawson Stadium low-key deep. But the March of 101 had Oberg rocking. The Qs were outside, and the class of 26 was out there hyped for the first home game of the 2022 season. But FAMU ain't pull up just for the party, and they let it be known early that this right here was a business trip. Jeremy Musa finding Xavier Smith across the middle, and he takes it 66 yards to the crib. And this an old head MEAC rivalry, and Zay Smith got some words for the crowd after the big score. Then it's BJ Bowman getting FAMU the ball back with the INT. And if the Rattlers gonna do one thing, it's strike. And if they're gonna do 2 things, it's strike again. And Jeremy Musa finds Jamari Sherrard for another 35-yard touchdown, and it's 14-0 FAMU in the second quarter. Florida A&M makes it 17-0 after a field goal. Then it's time for a little bit more of that Rattler D. Javon Morgan picks off Corey Fields and returns it just outside the red zone. FAMU flips it into another 3 points, and it's scary hours out there for the Bulldogs with FAMU up 20-0 heading into the fourth quarter. But that's not enough of a lead to put South Carolina State down easy. BJ Davis, awareness on 99. He gets the Bulldog comeback going with a big interception. Then it's Shaq Davis with a 14-yard touchdown pass from Corey Fields. Then it's BJ Davis back again, this time with some acrobatics for his second INT of the quarter. And it was Shaq Davis again for a 44-yard touchdown on the very next play. And by the time I got my camera set back up, it was 20-14, and the Bulldogs was over there lit. But the FAMU D stepped up when they needed him most. Kendall Bowling kills the South Carolina State drive with a pick, just like his big brother BJ did earlier in the game. Kamari Stevens, he gets the sack that would have sealed the deal, but a face mask penalty gives the Bulldogs one more shot. And they take it right downfield with another deep ball to Shaq Davis. Now that may or may not have been a little tug on his jersey, but it's called incomplete, and that was that. FAMU gets the 20-14 win and puts on for the SWAC after escaping and almost come back on the road.
We lit. Hey man, we out here, man. Rotterdam Nation. Going up no more, man, but we got the dub. SWAC over me all day, every day, man. Let's go.
And in the locker room during postgame, Coach Simmons reminds his team that overcoming adversity is the true mark of a champion.
Hey, all I can say, guys, is that's the way to fight through adversity. All right, we faced more than probably any game we played, as far as, and you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. All right, but the biggest deal is, guys, y'all show character tonight. You show heart, you show grit, you show determination. All right, that's what championship teams are made of. That's what championship individuals are made of. All right, in the face of as much adversity as we could have had, y'all stood up when it mattered the most. All right, remember that, because there gonna be other moments in life when you're gonna be faced with something just as bad. Okay. I was up till 3 o'clock last night. My wife was in the hospital thinking she was having a heart attack. Okay? She's gonna be fine, all right? But those are the type of adversities that we're gonna face. Okay? And hell, I could have told y'all I wasn't gonna coach today, I could have whatever. All right? But we set out to do something and we did it. Even though adversity came and tried to take it away from us. Okay? But that's the mark of a champion. So let's build upon that, all right? We can't relax, can't rest. We want a tough football game against a good football team, some good players, all right? But we made the plays we needed to make when it was time, okay? So build on it, 24-hour rule. Now we got 7 of them on the bus going back, okay? Then when you get back tonight, be smart, be careful, okay? And then let's come back tomorrow at 1 o'clock, locked in, ready to go to work. Okay, our work is not done. Everybody good on that? Yes, sir. Okay, hell of a job, man. Let's get it tight. Here we go. Fight on 3, family on 1. 1, 2, 3. Fight. 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
So there was a game, and then there were fireworks. In the game, Alabama State fired off first with Demetrius Davis hooking up with Keyshawn Johnson. A missed PAT, Alabama State up 6-0. Jackson State doesn't score until the second quarter. Shedeur Sanders finds Willie Gaines, 35-yard score. Just before the half, Alejandro Mata with the field goal. JSU up 10-6 at the break. Third quarter, Kevin Coleman Jr., one of the top recruits at wide receiver in the country last year. He scores, puts Jackson State up 17-6. Alabama State pulled to within 5 on this fumble recovery in the end zone. A 2-point conversion would fail, though. Keeps the score at 17-12. Jackson State finishes off the scoring with a touchdown and a field goal. But then there was the post-game handshake. Salty at best. Both coaches offered their opinion.
I guess me being up front is just like, I thought it was a lot of disrespect the whole week. And so you're not going to be disrespectful the whole week in the media. We didn't talk in the pregame. I was out there the whole time at the 50-yard line. He walked through our whole our whole huddle on our end zone and came a long way around to get to his side of the field in the pregame. Thought that wasn't classy at all.
I always come out the locker room and run around the field. That's my tradition. That's what I do. That wasn't nothing personal to invoke any riotous act against them. That's not who I am. That's not what I stand for.
He ain't SWAC. You know, I'm SWAC. He ain't SWAC.
Who is? I got time today. Who is SWAC? If I ain't SWAC, who is SWAC? If I ain't SWAC, who is SWAC? if I ain't SWAC? Who is SWAC? Baby, who is?
Alcorn State on the road, Itabena, Mississippi, taking on Valley. Alcorn scores first. Jarvion Howard with a little short run here. But Valley comes back in the second quarter. Caleb Johnson, 44-yard pass from Jamari Jones. It's a 7-7 game. But from that point, all the scoring goes to Alcorn State. Howard again, short touchdown. No scores in the third quarter, but in the fourth, Alcorn starts things off with the field goal. Then is Aaron Allen, 5-yard touchdown run. Tyler Smith goes a little longer. He scores from 35 out, and Alcorn State gets the win over Mississippi Valley State, 30-7. Bethune-Cookman at Tennessee State for their homecoming. Bethune-Cookman scores first on a field goal, and then Tennessee State goes on a run. Jalen Rouse, 22-yard touchdown. A little later, it's John Roberts. He hauls in a 5-yard pass from Draylon Ellis, and Tennessee State up 14-3. Fumble return by Mac Juice, make that 21-3. A field goal and then an interception return, and by halftime, Bethune-Cookman down big, 31-3 to Tennessee State. A little bit of a bright spot in the second half. Let's go to the fourth quarter. It's Jalen Jones. He sees opportunity. He is on the run. 67 yards. Touchdown for Jones. Tennessee State goes on to handle Bethune-Cookman 41-17. Southern and Prairie View A&M. The Panthers on top 3-0 when Bichon Mccray bust off this 10-yard run to put Southern up by 4. Prairie View answers. Jalen Howard hauls it in from Trazon Conley. Prairie View back on top. Both teams trade field goals in the second quarter, and Prairie View goes into the half leading 13-10. But after that, it was all Southern, scoring on 5 unanswered touchdowns. McCray hooking up with August Petrie for 2 consecutive touchdowns. And then McCray running one in. And the Strawberry on top, Jordan Carter, a 56-yard interception return. Southern blows out Prairie View in the second half, winning 45-13. Alabama A&M welcomed Hugh Jackson and Grambling State to the Rocket City over the weekend. Both teams came into the game at 1-4. Final seconds of the first quarter winding down. Tigers up 3. Donovan Eaglin off to the races for A&M. A 26-yard score. Bulldogs up 7-3. But Grambling would be up at the half. Quantarius Hawkins hits Lyndon Rush right on the numbers. 10-7 Grambling State at the break. Fast forward all the way to the fourth quarter. The game is all tied up at 17. Quincy Casey gets it to Terrell Gardner on the screen pass, 23 yards down to the Grambling 4. And the Bulldogs take advantage. Harold Jemison plunges into the end zone for the short touchdown. Bulldogs up 24-17. And now they have the chance to win the game, but the Tigers go on a 10-play, 71-yard drive. They tie it with 29 seconds left. Marie Washington was the one to score, and we're going to overtime. Both teams find the end zone to start things off, so we go to double overtime. And Alabama A&M scores again. Eaglin with the touchdown. Bulldogs go for 2, but not successful. A stop will end things. And on fourth down, the Bulldogs need a hero, and he comes in the form of Trey Derry. He gets the sack. Alabama A&M wins it 37-31, double overtime. All right, don't look now. But we've got 6 weeks left for your team to make it do what it do, if it's going to do anything at all. I mean, the summer's gone. It's getting dark early. But we still have football. Let's get into the Week 7 schedule, presented to you by Rocket Mortgage. For an expert partner to help buy your new home, Rocket can. FAMU at Grambling, 2 iconic programs headed in 2 different directions. FAMU has won 4 straight games after a rough 2 weeks to open the season. Grambling just 1-5 so far this year, and losers of 4 straight.
Again, I tip my hat to our team's resilience, their resolve. their willingness to never doubt and continue to just fight and persevere. And our defense stood up, had a great fourth down stand there, and was able to come out of there with a big victory that pushes us to 4-2 and keeps us in the conversation as one of the premier teams in the FCS. And so, again, great win for the program, a lot of momentum, and hopefully we can carry that over to this weekend as we travel up to Grambling, Louisiana, and take on the Grambling State Tigers, a team that's playing much better football than their record may indicate. So it'll be another tough challenge for us, but our guys are preparing hard right now, and we'll definitely be up for the challenge at hand.
Oh, it's very important. And it's important to us as our next opportunity. And obviously, FAMU's playing extremely well. Coach Simmons got them rolling, got them heading the right direction, and we're still finding our way. But obviously, the history between both programs is unprecedented. Two really good football programs, one that's really established himself now, and FAMU and Grambling, we're trying to get it back.
Mississippi Valley State at Alabama State. The Hornets were all in the news this week after the game against Jackson State, but quite sure those guys now are ready to get back on the field, make some news between the lines, and get back on what they hope to be the winning track. Mississippi Valley State, well, they beat Alabama State a year ago. They did do that, but this is a new year, and Valley's still looking for that first win of 2022.
We have to continue to make strides offensively in order to win a game. I think, defense can play. They play lights out sometimes, at times, and most of those times they're holding their end. Offensively, we just got to find a way to capitalize on some opportunities that we have. Even though this season has been rough, offensively, changing coordinators, making those adjustments when it comes to the players, but we just have to find a way. We just have to find a way offensively to put the ball in the end zone.
Well, man, I think, Coach Ryan Lewis, my defensive coordinator, he's doing a great job. I give him my input, but, he has to take credit for it. He has those guys that are playing really hard. We came out with a little different defense, a three-man front. Shador's been so good at picking apart defenses. You can't just show him the same thing he's been seeing all year, so we wanted to switch it up. Try to disguise coverages. He did a really good job when he caught us in the zero or he caught us in man of identifying the guy to attack, and he was able to make the play and they made the throw. But for the most part, we kept them off balance. They weren't able to run up and down the field. You wanted to be, make them be methodical, make them be patient, which, usually you don't have quarterbacks who can be patient, but then also take the big play. So he has the ability to be patient and run his offense, but then take the big plays when he gets them. So, but a lot of that is Coach Lewis. He's a great young defensive coordinator, a guy that I think would be a head coach in the conference at some point. So he's doing a great job, and we just have to keep that up this week.
Jackson State versus Bethune-Cookman in Jacksonville. JSU, the heavy favorites here, but right now, Bethune-Cookman, that's a battle-tested squad. They've been dealing with a lot. They are accustomed to adversity. A win this weekend would be big for that program. It's a neutral site game. It's being played at the home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. It actually turned out to be a good location for the game, as Daytona Beach is still in recovery mode after the impact of Hurricane Ian.
I think, first and foremost, you look at the way they prepare every day. They're lifting in foreign weight rooms, 2 or 3 different weight rooms. They're lifting, with equipment that they may not be familiar with. They're in settings as far as practice that they're not used to. And they're eating in cafeterias, but not one guy has complained. And they still come to work. So I think you find out a lot about people, a lot about each other when you have to spend this much time, out on the road together. But, I'll say it again. I said it all, last week to every reporter in Nashville. HBCU life, I think it prepares you for moments like this.
Bethune-Cookman is a good program. They have a good coach. They have a good team. Don't allow the record to indicate what you think they are. They're much better than their record. Mississippi Valley, Coach Dancy, he's much better than his record. These guys can coach their butts off. So you got to just make sure you don't set yourself up for a tremendous letdown, because you got to understand, you're the dogs. Everyone's hunting you. You're the ones. You're everyone's homecoming, and you got to go out there and do what you got to do because everyone is going to be up to play against you because they're measuring themselves by who we are. I heard all last week, y'all ain't this, y'all ain't that. Well, at the end of the game, we was up by 14. That's what I saw, and we didn't really play well. Consequently, you guys forced us to not play well, but we won by 2 touchdowns.
Alcorn State visits Southern. Oh, that's the sound of my hands rubbing. Are your hands rubbing? Easily the game of the day on paper. Both teams are 3-2 overall. The Braves have won 3 in a row. Southern has been dominant in his last 2 games. This one is going to be tough out on the Bluff.
It's no different in terms of a coaching philosophy. I mean, whether he go from a Prairie View to Southern, I mean, Coach Dooley gonna be the same. You know, he's gonna be so-called. People say he's the offensive guru, but you know, we have a philosophy too. You know, we play fast and get after people as well. So it's gonna be a great matchup for us. Him being in Southern, I think it's no different. I think it's a place that he want to be, and he's a Louisiana person. So. I think that, you know, our task is cut out for us in terms of what we got to do defensively to stop their offense. They're going to play fast, and we're very capable of playing fast well on that side of the ball.
You know, the young men, they work together for a long time. This dates back all the way to the beginning of summer. And now you start to see some of the benefits pay off from those guys working hard and tireless times together. But just continue to work it and try to make sure that they understand what we're trying to do. The assistant coaches, I think, is doing an excellent job of getting them the playbook, what we say. And I know my playbook is a little different because I believe in as keeping it on the move. So some things that we have to do to get better. But those young men are doing well, especially Mccray is doing a great job as far as commanding his offense and getting the ball to his playmakers. And that's what we expect him to do.
Some extended weekend action for you. Alabama A&M versus Arkansas Pine Bluffs on Sunday. Both teams have an extra day to get ready. Alabama A&M is 2-1 in conference. Arkansas Pine Bluff is 0-3 in conference play. Wasn't that long ago these 2 teams met in the SWAC championship game. You remember that spring season? Yeah, these were the cream of the crop.
Well, it's probably just give us both teams. It's not an advantage because both teams played Saturday. I don't know, they play Saturday. Yeah. We're you having a Saturday game than a Sunday game. Just give you 1 extra day. And for us, we don't play the next week. So it's not going to put us on a short week the next week. Pine Bluff may play the next week. I don't know. Haven't really looked at their schedule. But if they play next Saturday, that's going to cut out 1 day of their preparation for the next opponent. So that's the only negative of playing on Sunday. The good thing about playing on Sunday, I tell all my guys that say they dream on playing on Sundays, this is your opportunity.
Offensively, when we go on, it's a work of beauty, you know, but we're starting to sputter at times, you know, and then Skyler's working his way back into the saddle. You know, it's he had a gutsy performance. He gutted some things out last week for us, and you know, he was unable to play all the way, wasn't able to play at all against Southern, and he wasn't going to be denied this week. So, but he's fighting his way back to get back to 100%.
All right, time now for the SWAC Players of the Week from their performances in Week 6. Players of the Week brought to you by Pepsi Zero Sugar, official partner of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Jackson State's Shadur Sanders, Florida A&M's Isaiah Major, along with Southern's Joshua Griffin and Bichon Mccray are this week's winners. Offensively, Sanders completed 30 of 46 pass attempts for 332 yards to go along with 3 passing touchdowns during Jackson State's 26-12 win over Alabama State. He threw for touchdowns of 35, 25, and 16 yards while completing passes to 10 different receivers. Defensive player, Major Keys, man. He was a major contributor all over the field and in the backfield while leading the Rattlers defensive unit in a 20-14 win at South Carolina State. He led the Rattlers with 13 tackles, 5 of them solo, assisted on 8 others, 2.5 tackles for loss, and a sack as well. Specialist of the Week, Griffin. He played a vital part for the Jaguars special teams unit, connecting on a 40-yard field goal during the 45-13 win over Prairie View. He also went 6 for 6 with extra point attempts while averaging 56 yards on kickoffs with 2 touchbacks. Newcomer of the week, Bichon Mccray, led the Jaguars' offensive attack for the 2nd straight week. He has 360 yards of total offense during that win over PV. He went 16 of 22 for 275 yards and 2 touchdowns to go along with 85 yards on the ground and 2 rushing touchdowns as well. While we're in the award conversation, I have an award that I would like to add. It's the Celebrity of the Week Award. NFL Hall of Famer and just so happens to be my favorite wide receiver of all time, T.O. He was on the sideline at the Alabama State-Jackson State game, just hanging out with Shador, catching some balls for him. He was just a guy on the sidelines. There was so much going on during that homecoming game that, man, we didn't get a chance to shout out T.O. He got lost in the sauce. How often does that happen to T.O.? But let's give him his flowers here. The award that has no award, our Celebrity of the Week. All right, let's take a look at the standings. This week, we're going to start out west. We'll do that, and then we'll work our way back to the east. My brother, to the east, SWAC standings, brought to you by General Motors, official sponsor of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. All right, I did say we'll start out west, right? All right, let's start there. Alcorn State, 2-0 right now. Will it last? Because Southern, Prairie View, they're hanging right there. Southern and Alcorn going to get it together this weekend. Texas Southern still in the mix at 2-2. We got a lot of football left to be played in this season. Arkansas Pine Bluff, Grambling State, both looking for their first wins of the year out west in the conference. All right, in the east, Jackson State 3-0. Florida A&M 2-1 in conference play. Jackson State undefeated overall at 5-0. Alabama A&M, they're coming on strong just like the Rattlers. They're sitting at 2-1 as well in the conference. Bethune Cookman, 500 so far. Alabama State, 1-2 in conference play. And Mississippi Valley State, they are looking for a win. All right, that's it for this week's Cricket SWAC Game Day, presented by Pepsi Zero Sugar. I'm Tali Carr from Atlanta. Let's keep that big energy going this weekend. Let's get another 1 million views on YouTube. Let's keep SWAC trending on social media because these games this weekend are going to be awesome. So let's spread the word about SWAC because SWAC is where it's at, baby. It's where it's at. I'm SWAC, you're SWAC, we're SWAC. All right, you guys stay safe. We'll talk to you next week.